Japanese. Lesson 0. 挨拶 Greetings. These are the Japanese greetings, and I'll be going over each one in this video today. Ohayo means good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu means good morning in a more polite way. You would use ohayo when you're talking to people close to you, like your family and friends. And you would use ohayo gozaimasu when you're talking to people other than that, like your teacher illustrated here. Konnichiwa means good afternoon. Konbanwa means good evening. Sayonara means goodbye. Oyasumi or oyasumi nasai means good night. Adding nasai would make it more polite. Arigato means thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu also means thank you, but in a more polite way. Sumimasen means excuse me or I'm sorry. Iie means no or not at all. Ittekimasu means I'll go and come back, and itterashai means please go and come back. This translation sounds a little weird, but you would always say it in Japanese when you're leaving the house. Tadaima means I'm home, and okaeri or okaeri nasai would mean welcome home. Itadakimasu means thank you for the meal, and you would always say this before you start eating. Gochitosama or gochitosama deshita means thank you for the meal, and you would always say this after you finish eating. Hajimemashite means how do you do, and yoroshiku onegai shimasu means nice to meet you. You only use hajimemashite when you first meet someone. Okay. Expression notes 1. Ohayo and arigato. Ohayo is used between friends and family members, while ohayo gozaimasu is used between less intimate acquaintances. Similarly with arigato and arigato gozaimasu. The rule of thumb is, if you're on the first name basis with someone, go for the shorter versions. If you address someone as Mr. or Miss, use the longer versions. Ohayo is the greeting used before noon, but some people use it in casual settings in the afternoon or even at night when they see their classmates or coworkers for the first time that day. Sayonara. There are several goodbye expressions in Japanese, the choice among which depends on the degree of separation. Sayonara indicates that the speaker does not expect to see that person spoken to before she turns a page in her life, not until a new day arrives or until fate brings the two together again. It sounds dramatic and ritualistic, and its daily use is largely restricted to school children taking leave of their teachers. Jamata is used between friends, expecting to see each other again fairly soon. Shitsurei shimasu, for example, means taking leave from a professor's office. Sumimasen. Sumimasen means 1, excuse me, to get another person's attention, or 2, I'm sorry, to apologize for the trouble you have caused, or 3, thank you, to show appreciation for what someone else has done for you. Iie. Iie is primarily no, a negative reply to a question. In the dialogue, it is used to express the English phrase, don't mention it, or you're welcome, with which you point out that one is not required to feel obligated or for what they have done for them. Itterashai, ittekimasu, tadaima, okaeri nasai. Ittekimasu and itterashai is a common exchange used at home when a family member leaves. The person who leaves says ittekimasu, which literally means I'll go and come back. And the family members respond with itterashai, which means please go and come back. Tadaima and okaeri are used when a person comes home. The person who arrives home says, Tadaima, I am home right now, to the family members, and they respond with okaeri nasai, welcome home. Benshu, practice. Answer these questions in Japanese with the words you have learned in this video. You could answer with what you would say in the situation that is stated here. You should answer the question in English first and then translate it into Japanese to make it easier. Pause the video here to answer these problems. Now, I will be going over the answers with you. These are the answers to the 11 problems stated earlier. Let's go over each answer. You meet your host family for the first time, greet them. You would use はじめまして、よろしくお願いします because you're first meeting them and you need to say nice to meet you. It is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You see your neighbor, Mr. Yamada. You would say konnichiwa, meaning good afternoon. You come to class in the morning, greet your teacher, and then greet your friends. When you greet the teacher, you would say ohayou gozaimasu to be more polite. But when you're greeting your friend, then you would say ohayou. On a crowded train, you stepped on someone's foot. You would say sumimasen, which means sorry. You dropped your book. Someone picked it up for you. You would say arigatou gozaimasu, which means thanks. It is 8 o'clock at night. You have to meet your teacher at the convenience store. You would say konbanwa, or good evening. You are watching TV with your host family, and it's time to go to sleep. You would say to your host family, oyasumi nasai, or good night. You're leaving home. You would say ittekimasu, and when you have come back home, you would say tadaima. You're going to start eating, then you would say itadakimasu, and you have finished eating, you would say gochisousama. Culture note. 挨拶とお辞儀, greetings and bowing. Japanese people greet each other by bowing, which has many other functions such as expressing respect, gratitude, or apologies. There are different ways of bowing, ranging from a small nod of the head to a 45-degree bend at the waist. Generally, the longer and deeper you bow, the more formal and respectful it appears to others. Many Japanese tend to feel uncomfortable with physical contact, although handshaking is becoming quite common in business situations, especially those involving foreigners. When meeting someone in a business situation for the first time, it is customary to exchange meishi, or business cards, with a small bow. Etiquette guides list a vast number of rules and pointers, but just remember that the important thing is to clearly show your respect when exchanging meishi. Next week will be about Lesson 1, 新しい友達, or new friends. Part 1, vocabulary. See you next week.